we're here in Montreal. You just came off stage with Lizzy. How is it playing with
Lizzy?
The Liz.
Oh my God! I thought you were going to ask me about tonight. You know, something about Montreal and Canada that I for some reason I dig it here. You guys are really passionate. You know that.
Yeah.
I need to tell you. But the slot that we're doing, I got to tell you, and we all know it's a little tough,
right?
Because you know we go on at 6 o'clock. People get off of work at 5. The doors open at 5:30. They come have a drink and all that. So you go out there and you have to psych yourself up. You know, you got to imagine that there's a full house. So we started with like 50% of the house, and then slowly it went up.
It went up. Yeah, and listen, we almost didn't make it. We got stuck in traffic getting here.
That's my point exactly.
And
so
I was like, oh my God.
Knowing that, it's a little challenging. But I got to tell you, the lineup that Lizzy's got these days is just amazing. We all there's a lot of mutual respect, and we all appreciate the fact that we have the common denominator of getting up on stage, regardless of the size of the audience or whatever. Right. I think we're all on the same page when I say that we all feel privileged to be carrying the torch for Thin Lizzy and Phil in it and Gary and the boys. And that's what takes over.
Let me ask you, you've had 3 guitarists this year.
Yes.
How is Damon fitting in?
Damon, with all due respect to the other cats, I really feel that Damon, maybe it's a psychological thing, that the fact that he came in 150% ready to give a full commitment.
Right. Right, the other guys were filling in because they have other gigs.
Well, originally, no. Vivian, we all signed up. We had no idea this was going to fly like it's flying, right?
Right.
We thought it was going to be a 3, 4, maybe 5-month run. Call it a year, maybe next year do another. But you know, as you well know, people are going, we want more. So Vivian had prior commitments with his daytime job, what he calls his daytime job, which is a little band that's starting, huge, Def Leppard. I love that band. I love Joe. I love the guys, man. Savage, unbelievable. They're amazing. Anyway, so he had that commitment, and when we went out and we started adding dates with Lizzy, you know, he had to, guys, I'm sorry, you know. So we were lucky enough that we came across Richard Fortes, who heard about the news and drove himself to Chicago to say, I'm around, I'm available, I'm not doing anything with Guns N' Roses, and I've been a fan, and unbelievable player, unbelievable guy, the whole thing. But another situation where he's got the prior commitment with Guns N' Roses, and once we started going out, Axl started, you know, generating the possibility of touring again, which is always create a little bit of uncertainty, right? Because we're all here 100%. I'm committed. I'm really enjoying the fact that we can take this to the next level, and Brian is back, which I love.
Yeah, it's nice, huh?
And yeah, well, you know, I played with the other lineups, you know, with Michael Lee, may he rest in peace, amazing drummer, and Tommy Aldridge. There's only one, Tommy Aldridge, and him and I have done a lot of work. But for Lizzy, for this catalog, for this, you know, this music in particular, just Brian, man, you know. So I was excited to the fact that Brian was going to be back, Darren was back, Scott, and of course Ricky. When we met him in London, we played a little bit, and he just flew. Yeah. And his spirit, he's totally committed to the Lizzy thing, and I tell people it's in his blood, it's in his DNA, because it is, man. He's ultimately the best front guy for this gig. Yeah.
Now what is? You're moving on with shows and shows and shows, but at some point, do you stop and say, we got to make some new music?
Yes, that's been something that's been talked about even more in the past 2 or 3 months that we're doing in the U.S.
Okay.
And when we got offered this slot, which was a little tough, we decided that we needed to do it to create the buzz, and it's working. It's mission accomplished. We're winding down. We have 5 more gigs.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
We finish off in Miami. It's been a great run.
It's a good place to finish, huh?
Yeah, physically draining, but man, my favorite 45, 50 minutes is when we get up on stage, and that's my fuel, you know.
Right.
But so yeah, we are definitely toying with the fact and playing around with some riffs and songs and ideas. And I will say this, and I think all the guys will be on the same page. We don't want to do something in a hurry.
Right.
It's very important that the fan base, the Lizzy fan base, understands what we're doing, and when the time is right and the music's there, listen, you know, look at look at the catalog between all of us. We're all writers. There's a lot of credentials here, a lot of history, and so there isn't a lack of ability. It's just going to be the focus and what direction and the timing's got to be right and all that. So,
do you sit down and think we need to make another song like "Don't Believe in Love," or do you think? Don't
believe a word.
Don't believe a word. Did I say?
Yeah, love. That's fine. Same thing.
I'm into
word,
Def Leppard.
Yeah, I hear you. Too many bands.
Too many interviews tonight.
Yeah, that's okay.
But,
I get it.
Yeah, as it came out, I went, wait a minute.
Well,
but do you try to go back to the classic sounds, and you listen to those albums, or you think, no, we got to create something brand new?
Well, that's going to be the hardest part, because right now I'm here with the Lizzy. I'm all engulfed with the Lizzy thing, and so I don't care what anybody tells you. We're all influenced by what we do musically, right. And it's going to be. In some shape or form is going to be influenced by it. So yeah, we start toying around in the dressing room and here and there, and I think we got the green light to kind of start looking at some demos at the beginning of the year. We'll be flying to London, and we'll be taking it to the next step. But yeah, the influence is going to be there, man. I mean, the big anthems. The boys are back. Wouldn't it be nice to bring something to the table that's reminiscent of the boys are back in town, Obviously, you can't recreate it, but
you could try to make something better, though. It's possible.
Yeah. Better, or as good, better. We're not trying to beat or compete with what Phil and the boys did earlier. We're trying to enhance it.
Or continue it.
Continue it. To continue the legacy, to carry the torch and say, we are here today. Unfortunately, Phil's gone, but we are here respectfully so. And if you accept us, we're here. We're going to give you the best rock show we can possibly give you. And musically, we're trying to do the same. So if your arms are open, we're here,
Now, what about you for solo records?
I'm always doing, people that know me know that every time I get off the road, I love what I do with a passion. So I've had a Latin jazz funk trio forever, which is Joey Heredia on drums and Renato Neto, who's working with Prince now on keyboards.
Okay.
But that project seems to be getting harder and harder to book, and because they're busy, I'm busy, and when I'm off, they're busy. And so the label, Frontiers, approached me when I was touring with Whitesnake. They saw me sing and said, do you need to do a solo album? And it took me a while. I finally decided to do it, Frontiers, and that album's called Live for Tomorrow. I called some of my friends like Steve Lukather, Ted Nugent, Doug Aldridge, to play on it, and Richie Kotzen produced, who was an amazing artist, and on drums, Tommy Aldridge.
Aha!
Tommy,
We've both made a mistake.
Yes,
We're even.
Tommy Aldridge,
right?
The one and only Tommy Aldridge.
And Doug is great on guitar.
And Doug's amazing, man. So I got lucky, Great guitar players, great drummers. I also had Brian Tisha come in, and most
he's a monster.
Yes,
that guy's a monster.
I know, man. So I got lucky. But most importantly, my son Marco played on the album, who I love dearly. He's a talented cat. He's working on his solo album right now. We're going to help him out. Hopefully.
What kind of music is he making?
He's been involved with a band called Jaguares, which is in the Latin American market. It's pretty big. They got 3 Grammys in 2009, 2 years ago, so that should tell you the magnitude and the level.
Wow.
But he wants to play jazz also. He wants to push the envelope as a bass player, and he's got the chops, he's got the knowledge, he's got the ability and the creativity to take it there, so I think he's going to go there. I'm advising him differently, but, we're all running our own paths.
Now, you've worked with Neal Schon in the past.
Yes, sir.
Any more work with Neal coming up?
We actually finished an album earlier this year.
Really?
February? No, last year.
Right.
Something like that. Well,
Recently.
Recently. I'm doing so much, and it's a trio comprised of Dean Casanova on drums, singing as well. Neal Schon
he's a kick-ass singer.
on guitar, of course, and singing and writing, and myself. And we all got together in the studio. Neal's another cat that wants to keep music going, because they take long breaks with Journey. And they're flying really high. They're high right now. They're blowing. That new album's just amazing. Beautiful album. So I've got that, and then last year.
When is that coming out, though?
We don't know. This is something that we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with that.
Is it sort of the continuation of Soul Circus, or is it more like a journey, or is it just a whole new thing altogether?
It's a whole new thing with the influences of Soul Circus, because Neal Schon is there, and because Dean was there, and I was there, and we just don't have the front guy. We decided to do a power trio and have fun. And we had a blast in the studio. You know, we went to Fantasy Studios, world famous and historical studio, and we had a blast, man. And I think it's going to be reflected in the music when you hear it, when it comes out. It will sometime next year. But on the solo front, I also put out another album, which is a little, you know, leaning more on the funk side, Latin funk, jazz, R&B, with a little gospel and and rock influence. So, and that came out. It's called Casa Mendoza. It came out last November with Mascot Records.
Right.
And
out of Europe, that.
Yes, they're from Holland. Frontiers from Italy. And they gave me the opportunity to stretch the spectrum. Said stylistically, let's take it where you want to go. So I pulled out my 6 fretless and soloed a lot. You know, I was a kid in a little toy store, you know, and so wrote some tracks and I covered some, and it's fun. It's just fun, man. I always like to put things in front of me, you know. I feel like I always want to keep challenging myself, you know.
Any last words, and what site should we be plugging for you?
Site, MarcoMendoza.com, of course.
Always important.
I'm on Facebook, ThinLizzyBand.com. And just, you know, say hello, man. Stay tuned, because I'm always doing one thing or another. And
it's nice to be busy.
Canada's always been great. I love coming here. And Montreal, it's just awesome. Quebec, we had a blast there. Toronto. And
yeah, I heard the show last night in Quebec was insane.
Awesome, man. Just great. So hopefully we will be coming back with Thin Lizzy. We're looking at that next year.
Oh, great.
And what I would love to do is come back. I've been invited to do the Montreal Jazz Festival a few years now.
Oh, that is a big, I mean, that's like hundreds of thousands of people.
I've done it with my jazz project, and I'm looking forward to maybe setting the dates apart. You know, you got to book 6-7 months ahead. That's the problem.
And that's a huge festival. I mean, you're playing to a lot of people. That's
I've
fun.
done it. I've been here.
Did you enjoy it?
We did that. We did the bass and guitar festival. We did the drum festival. We've been coming.
Oh, you did the drum festival in November.
Ralph Angelillo.
Yeah.
It's been a few years. We've been busy. But we love it. I love it up here. People really love music, you know, and the variety.
Passionate, yeah.
Very passionate. So, yeah, just hang out and say hello on my Facebook page, and also MarcoMendoza.com. There's a list that you can sign up for. It kind of lets you know what's going on.
Oh, perfect.
And stay tuned, man. Rock and roll.
Well,
Vive la rock.
Vive le rock. And
Vive
thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
It's great.
You're welcome.
Great.
Aviento. Au revoir.
Thank you.